Hello kapatids, welcome back to our vlog no GMJ's Good Libet. Again, GMJ's Good Libet mao ni siya ang akuang personal nga vlog where I do my philosophical and theological exercise. So today, medyo taod-taod ta no nga wala ta makagama og content regarding our um, theme, most especially in apologetics, no, defending our faith, and of course, including some topics and issues surrounding no, the topic that we are going to discuss. So karon, um, I know nga daghan na, no, daghan na ang nakahisgot, kabahin, makita ninya sa picture, kabahin sa mga ribulto, no. Kini giila sa mga dili katoliko isip idolatry. Mingon tag idolatry, that is worship, no, worship of the images or graven images. That means gidili, gibawal, giprohibit. No? That means wala, gitugot. No? I know that you have listened, you have watched YouTube videos, or maybe from the radio or TV about this. Now, if you are not interested, nang dili ro mo interesado, ayaw ra pod ipadayon naglantaw, no? But if you are interested, especially to listen to my point of view, to my perspective, no, I would be glad. And please subscribe na lang and then like and share this video. Again, my name is Joven Halbuna. No, I'm currently teaching in a college, no, in a known college in the Siquijor province. I was also a part-time teacher in Norso way back 2020 to 2020, roughly the middle of 2023, and then no, 2022 I mean, and then I transferred to Siquijor State College. I was a former seminarian at the Our Lady of the Angels Seminary that is in Novaliches, Quezon City. And then before that, I was already a member of the Catholic Faith Defenders before entering the seminary. So, as a member of the CFD, I am already around since 2000, if I'm not mistaken, since 2010, more than a decade already practicing defending the faith. So, our topic for today will be about iconography versus idolatry. Now, bright maayo mo gama og analogy, maayo sa mo gama og mga examples, mo connect the dots and the lines nga ilahang makita kabahin sa sumala sa naa sa picture, no? Noon at ngayon. Kana sila noon, those people, pagan people, making images na ilang tunawon ang bronze, ang gold, no, aron himuon nila nga either baka or unsa man nga imahe aron ilang pagasimbahon. Is that the same? The question is that the same with the Nazareno, no, nga nasa picture usab, no, which is widely practiced in Manila, no, during January, no, traslasyon as they call it. Sa ato na siyang himayon, no. So usab nga pangutana is unsa man ang atong paglantaw isip mga Katoliko, especially for the Catholics. Unsa man atong paglantaw sa mga ribulto? Buhi ba kini o patay? Because I know many of you can be easily convinced, can be easily persuaded to believe on the arguments and ideas of the non-Catholics, to believe that those images are nothing. Those images cannot do anything. No, may una so may patay, walay mahimo. So what is our perspective, or what is our treatment? What is our belief? Is that dead or alive? No. Ikaduha nga pangutana, are we really worshiping? Ginasimba ba nato kining mga imahe nga nato makita sa simbahan sama sa atong mga cathedral? No. Ato ba nang gisimba isip ato ang mga Dios? Is that a replacement to our God? Ikatulo nga pangutana, kung ang pagluhod akto sa pagsimba, buot ba natong sabton nga gisimba nato ang mga imahe? Because sometimes we expressed our belief, no, by kneeling, pagluhod. No? Is that if we are going to kneel before an image, is that or can that um be interpreted as a worship as God? Another question, asa mabasa sa Biblia nga luhuran, halukan, o trapuhan og panyo ang mga rebulto sama sa mga gihimo sa Nazareno o Santo Niño? Nabatay mabasa nga pwede ka na siyang buhaton. Now, what are the answers to those questions? If you are a Catholic, you should know the answer. Because if you didn't know the answer, that is the problem. Once there is a problem, that means your faith is not really that strong in the perspective or in the field of doctrinal matters, at least in the basic parts. No? I know marami pa o daghan pa kay mga theological questions that we cannot answer as lay, no? And we have to entrust that to our experts, to our theologians, to our priests, you know, those who have studied that for many years, canon lawyers. Now, for in the basic part, can we provide an answers? No. Now, in order to answer those questions, I will start with the word worship. What is the definition? Let's start with the basic. What is the definition of the word worship? Can we provide the definition of the word worship? Because sabi ni saya, simba, pagsimba, pagsimba, that is acting, no? Act of worship, pagsimba or worship. Ang kahulugan ini according to Collins Dictionary, it is to show profound religious devotion and respect. That means pagpakita sa imong lawom nga devotion and respeto. That means you are just expressing your belief on something. It's either in a form of adoration, adore, or venerate. Now the question is, adoration and veneration are two different words. Mayroon tag duwa ka managlahi nga mga pulong, dili na siya parehas, but they belong to the definition of worship. So nagpasabot nga duwa di ay kaklase ang pagsimba. That is first, adoration. That is a worship intended alone or solely to God, para lamang sa Diyos ang pagsimba. That is the worship that we cannot give to anyone or to anybody. While the word venerate or veneration, that is showing, expressing respect, veneration, that is venerate. The word veneration is a type of worship intended to the saints, sa mga santos. I-review na sa inyong mga dictionary, or you can search that in Google kung kahulugan ba na sa worship. Kahulugan. In fact, in theological perspective of the Catholic doctrines, there are three types of worship. That is the adoration, or we call it the dulia, and the hyperdulia. There's a Latin term for the adoration, but I'll just focus on the dulia and the hyperdulia because adoration is already intended for God. Dulia, that is a type of veneration that is given to the saints, while hyperdulia is a term for of worship intended for Mary. Mary, the Mother of God, no? Taas, no? Mas taas-taas na siya ng veneration kumpara sa dulia. Now, this is intended for the Mother of God, which is Mary. So that is from the dictionary. So pasabot, mga higala, that worship or pagsimba is not exclusive to adoration. Dili lamang adoration ang kahulugan ini. I hope you get the difference. there is another word or definition of worship, that is veneration or respect. Again, I'm sorry, I forgot earlier the Latin term for adoration, that is latria. Latria, that is adoration, that is intended for God. Now, what is the difference between the word idolatry and iconography? Idolatry, mga higala, it denotes divine worship given to an image. That means pagsimba sa Diyos-Diyos. Because divine worship, that is intended for God. Now, according to Thomas Aquinas, our universal doctor of the Catholic Church, idolatry is giving divine honor to things that are not God or to God Himself in a wrong way. Mo ni siya'y paghatag o Diyos nung paghalad, pagsimba, no? Sa butang nga dili Dios or sa Dios pero sa sayop nga pamaagi. No? So that is idolatry. That means simba sa Dios-Dios. Ngayon tag Dios-Dios dili tinuod nga Dios. Now, the other word is iconography, which will perfectly, or the right term to call to the practice of the Catholics, the giving respect or veneration or praying, to the saints. Ato po na siyang hisgutan. Iconography is the use of images and symbols to represent ideas. Now, the first question earlier is that is our images alive, dead or alive? No. Again, the answer of the question is the images that we can see in the church does not literally, I mean, it's literally, no, inyo yung makita, litra por litra, or what you can see, that is dead. No? Unsa inyo makita, that is dead. Dili naman na mutingog kung inyohang paistoryahon, di na po na makadungog. The image per se. Kanang image lang alone. But again, iconography says that it is the use of images and symbols to represent ideas. That means kanang sa inyong cellphone, no, na icons sa applications. Sa mga batanon sikat ang Mobile Legends. Kanang icon sa Mobile Legends, no, unsa inyo makita, maura na siya. But click it, pinduta. Di ba kay naapay halapad kaayo paggawas niya na pag-open na makadula ka, makaselect kag heroes and all. No? Google icon. Pag-click nimo unsay mo makita mo ra na. But pag-click nimo, daghan kay ka mabuhat. Magka-research ka, makagama ka og kuan diha sa pwede nimong buhaton sa Google. And all the other icons. As an example, that is an analogy. Now, kanang atong images, unsa inyo makita, maura na siya. But open your mind. Use your faith. Lanta, gamita ang inyong pagtuo diha. Inyo na siyang masabtan that theologically, that is just only an image representing the reality, its reality in heaven. Meaning, dunay buhi nga realidad ang girepresentahan niya nga imahe. Sama sa imahe ni San Pedro. No? Imahe ni San Pedro. Kanang revolto ra inyo tan-awon, inyong ilimit ang inyong perspective to the image alone, then patay na siya. But if your perspective is open theologically using your faith, that image is not limited to the image alone. No, dili na siya limitado sa imahe lamang. Because that image is just only representing the reality of that person. Dunay buhi nga representahan which is in heaven. Ang imahe ni Maria, kung inyo na siya tan-awon, di na siya mutingog, no? Pero ang buhi nga Maria nga naa sa langit makadungog. No? That's why even in the Middle Ages era, tungod kay daghan man ang dili kasabot. No? Tungod kay that time many cannot speak Latin, no, which is the universal language of the Catholic Church. Dili makasabot, but through the images they can understand that this is Peter, this is Paul, this is Mary, this is Jude, this is James. No. Tanawa ng mga dili katoliko nga wala imahe. saan man nila pagpasabot, no? They cannot. Sa mga dili edukado, no, not to underestimate them, that is to help them educate with our faith, no? Now, let's go back to the history. Atong timan-an mga higala that the first iconographer or una nga nigamit og icons si Saint Luke the Evangelist, no, usa sa ato ang gospel writer. Now, he painted the holy image of the Virgin Mary on a panel or portable, kung ano mo na siya flat no nga portable, a face which he himself had seen. That means, in the era, nakita niya ang bulahan ng Berhen, no? Nakita niya si Maria, nakauban niya. So that means iyang gipinta, iyang gipaint on sa iyang nakita. So historian Theodoros Lector mentions also that Saint Luke drawing the Virgin. No? Doon na po historian niya nagpamatuod niya na. And then there is also another si Saint Simeon the Metaphrast, usa ka historian, usa pod ka author of many biographies of the saints. He also mentioned one icon of the Blessed Virgin Mary holding Christ, the Theotokos, the Mother of God. No, this painting is honored even to this day. No? Tungod sa mga pagduda, no, if si Saint Luke bagyod ang ni-paint sa mao nga mga imahe, sa mao nga imahe ni Maria, dili ni nato mabasa sa Biblia. So muna siya nga dili pagadawaton sa mga dili Katoliko, no? But this tradition proves, no, that Luke really painted. While in the 2nd and 3rd century, another proof that our apostles really practiced iconography. Kanang catacomb, i-search niyo na sa Google. Catacomb means lubnganan sa mga naunang Kristiyano. Lugar kung diin usab nagtago ang mga apostol o mga karaang o mga naunang mga Kristiyano sa ilang panagtipon sa panahon sa persecution sa emperor sa Roma. No, tungod kay kung practice silang pagtuo publicly, they will be rounded up, no? Palibutan sila, dakpon sila, prisuhon sila, pamatyon sila. In fact, ang mga madakpan niya mga Kristiyano himuog suga, no? That means magabi ilansang sa cross tapos ilang dagkutan sa ilang kalye, mahimong suga sa ilang mga kalye o ilang mga dalan. Now, catacomb mo siya mga lubnganan sa niadtong panahon na kundiin diha, no? Diha nagtago ang mga Kristiyano, nagmeeting, nagampo, nagsimba, no? Diha unang example, catacomb ni Saint Calixtus, no? Tinuod ni there is a dunay makita, no, artifacts nga magpruweba diri sa catacomb ni Saint Calixtus. Dunay 6 praying figures, dunay unom ka mga figures ka ampo, no? Duna po'y catacomb ni Comodilia, no? Dire sa wall sa mga catacomb na gi-paint nga nawong ni Kristo nga dunay bungot, no? Bearded Christ. There is also called Catacomb of Saints Marcellinus and Peter. Dunay painting ni Daniel og mga leon, no? Which can be read in the Bible as well. Ug daghan pa. So, usa o duwa to sa mga daghan yung mga example that our apostles or the early Christians really practiced iconography. No? Now, let's go back to the questions. No? Sa mga pangutana. Gidili ba ang tanang imahe? Especially sa simbahan? No? Mao ni ilang pruweba, ilang gi-mention sa Exodo 20 versikulo 2 ngadto sa 5. In English, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. Wala kay pagadawaton nga Dios gawas kanako. You shall not make for yourself a graven image, no, prohibited image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in earth beneath. No, dili ka magabuhat, no, og imahe, dili nga imahe nga makita sa ibabaw sa langit o sa ilalom sa yuta, or that is in the water under the earth, sa ilalom sa tubig. You shall not bow down to them or serve them. Nausa na siya ka versikulo. Ikadua, ilang gigamit. Salmo 115, versikulo 4 nga sa 8. Ningon dire, their idols are silver and gold, the work of man's hands. They have mouths, but they don't speak. Hindi, tanawa na itong imahe diya. Dunay ba, dili kasi tingog, di kasulti. They have eyes, but they don't see. Dunay mata, di kakita. They have ears, but they don't hear. Dunay dalungan, pa di kadungog. They have noses, but they don't smell. Dunay ilong, dili kasimot. They have hands, but they don't feel. They have feet, but they don't walk. Neither do they speak through their throat. Tanawa. Gidili. Base ni ini nga mga imahe, gidili ang mga images. Tanang images. Gidili. Apan, na if you're going to interpret that, wala man po'y dimension nga tanan. Or unsa, no? Nga gidili bagod tanan. Kaya kung gidili pa tanan, bisan pag-take lamang natong pictures atong mga hinigugma, bawal. Besides, kana bitaw mo propose ka, kung makigminyo ka, mulhod ka. No? Bowing or kneeling, does that mean that you're treating the person your God? Just a simple analogy. Mupasok ba na siya sa Exodo 22 nga sa 5 Salmo 115? Daghan nga igo no? Apan atong klaruhon unsa ang gidili. No? Pinasikad usab gitubag na ang 6 Exodo 20, gisubag na siya sa Exodo 25 18 ngadto sa 19. Mao kining giingon mga higala. You shall make 2 cherubim of gold. Magbuhat kay 2 ka cherubim pinaagi sa bulawan. Ang Dios nagsugo. Yung gisugo, no? Nagsugo siya nga buhat og 2 ka cherubim. Cherubim, that is angels. No? Angels, that is second in rank, no? Sa mga anghel. No? 2 ka cherubim, no? Of hammered work, you shall make them on the 2 ends of the mercy seat. Imong igapwesto, no, sa ang 2 ka cherubim kilid og kilid sa mercy seat. 1 cherub on the one end and 1 cherub on the other end. Of one piece with the mercy seat shall you make the cherubim on its 2 ends. Nagsugo ang Diyos. Now, pangutana, gidili ba tanan? I-mention sa Exodo 20, Salmo 115. Dili. No? The direct answer to that is dili. Dili tanan. Ang gidili sa Dios is that, again, back to the definition, ang gidili sa Dios is to make images that you will treat as God. You will worship as God. Mo na gidili. So kung ang imahe imo gihimo not as your God, that is okay. That is fine. Now, another verse that will prove it. In Numbers 21, verses 8 to 9. Lord, order Moses. Isugo sa Diyos si Moses. Make another statue in the form of a bronze serpent. Bronze serpent. He commanded the children of Israel to look to it in order to be healed. Sa panahon nga dunay mga halas nga namaak, ang mapaakan mamatay, ang Dios nagsugo kang Moses kapag himo og bronze nga serpente, halas. Kinsa may magalantaw nini mamaayo? That is another proof that will debunk or refute the argument that all are prohibited. Another, Exodo 25, versikulo 10. Nagsugo ang Dios sa pagbuhat sa arka pinaagi sa kahoy. No? Katong arka. No? Now, katong pangutana, Brad, nga pagluhod. No? Pagluhod. Gibawal ba ning tanang klase sa pagluhod? Again, sa akong analogy kaganina, ang pagpropose ng muluhod, di na bawal. But biblically, Joshua 5, versikulo 14. Joshua fell prostrate in worship before angel. Another, Daniel 8, versikulo 17. Daniel fell prostrate before Gabriel. And then another, Tobit 12, versikulo 16. Tobia and Tobit fall to ground before Raphael. Mga akto sa pagluhod. But not They treat them not as gods, but as a form of respect or veneration. Now, kaning pagpahid sa panyo, bawal ba ni? Ato ning tubagong hinahinay, no? Tubit, no. Ikaduhang hari 13, versikulo 20 nga 21. No, basahan ninyo diha. Contact with Elisha bones, restored life. No. Kani bitaw na tayo ginatawag nga relics, no, sa Katoliko. No, tayo first, second, third relics. No, nga miraculous. No, mga bilin ni siya sa santos nga namatay nga makamilagro tungod kay santos. Dinhi sa ikaduhang hari 13 bersikulo 20 to 21, kadtong namatay kumbaga nag-contact, that means nag-abot, no, naghikap, nagkaabot, no, ang patay o ang bukog ni Elisha o nabuhi ang ginatay, no? Buhat 5 bersikulo 15-16, bisan lamang ang anino ni Pedro nakaayo, no? Pedro anino. Also buhat 19 bersikulo 11 ngadto sa 12, through face clothes, no, that touch Paul, katong sanina, no, siya tela nga gigamit sa nawong nga gihikap kang Pablo makaayo. So that means that is biblical. Another question, sayop babarad ang pag-ampo o magpaampo sa mga santos? Usa ni siya sa misconception bitaw sa mga dili Katoliko, because they thought that we are asking to the saints or from the saints. No? Diha sila nasayop because the verbatim of the Catholics is that pray for us. Iampo kami. That means we are asking them to pray for us. Why we are asking them to pray for us? Because there's nothing wrong. And in fact, those people who are already in heaven are near to God because they're already with God. Kita nga din ga panimbasag pa sa itong kaluwasan, we are not that near to God because from time to time we commit sins. No? Muna siya'y diferensya. So sa tubit, dusi-dusi. No? Angel presents Tubit and Sarah's prayer to God. No? Ang anghel, nagampo si Sarah o si Tubit, ug ang anghel mo'y nagdala sa ilang pag-ampo ngadto sa Dios. Si Tubit ug si Sarah, ikaduha nga pruweba mabasa biblically mga higala is kaning sa Revelations 5 verse 8. Now, in that text, angel offers prayers of the holy ones to God, no? Bali nag-ampo, no? Ang mga pag-ampo, no? gi offer ngadto sa Dios pinagi sa mga santos. So there's nothing wrong, no? There's nothing wrong when we ask someone to pray. So again, I'll go back to the verbatim that was or is mostly misinterpreted by the non-Catholics, no? Our dear friends from the non-Catholics, no? That they think, no, ang ilang pagtuo nga nangayo ta sa santos, atong giampuan ang santos o nangayo ta sa santos directly, o ang santos may mohatag nato. Muna siya pinakasayop ni nga pagsabot nila. Ang ato gibuhat is that the verbatim is that pray for us. That means we are asking them na marayag ta nila nga ang atong pag-ampo ilahang ihatod, no, ngadto sa Dios. The analogy to that is that in our social hierarchy, no, dunay presidente kung sa atong gobyerno, dunay senador, no, sa mga companies dunay CEO and so on. If you are not directly related to the president, to the senator, to the vice president, to whoever in the position, and then you need their help, so dili ka direkta makaduol nila, no, whether we like it or not. That's why we ask the assistance of those nearer to the president nga duna kay connection, no? Kanang na kay connection ba, no? Kaila ba nimo nga suod sa presidente or whoever? So that is the logic behind why we are asking them no, to pray for us, no, because they are already near to God. No? Sila mo'y dali natong maduulan. No? The other question is that tinuod ba nga wala na'y mahimo ang mga minatay sumala sa ilahang gikutlo sa Deuteronomio 18 versikulo 10 ngadto sa 11. No? Wala na bagyo mahimo, wala na bagyo sila connection kanato. No? Wala na batay mahimong relationship to the dead. Siguro wala na if we are talking in relation to the body which is corporeal. Wala na tayong mahimo na. Wala na tayong connection na because it will just die down and fade, no? Kaunon sa yuta. It will just decompose. But spiritually, we can have a connection because they can still do something. Biblically, we can read in 2 12 verse 12. Mark 9 verse 4. In this text, no, you can read, mababasa ninyo that Jesus is having a conversation with Moses and Elijah. Now, during the time of Jesus, Moses and Elijah was already long dead. No, but they are in conversation with Jesus. So that means they are still around. No? Naragyapon sila spiritually. Another proof is Revelation 6 verse 9 to 11. Martyrs under altar want earthly vindication. Ganahan sila nga matagaan sila justisya katong mga gipang patay, no? They can still do something. They're crying that to God. Now, on the approach suggested by the non-Catholics, direct to God dapat. Pwede man na. No, walay problema ana. Walay problema ana. The question is, kay pwede man na siya, sayop na ba ang magpaampo sa mga santos? That is the question. No? Walay problema if you want to go directly to God or to pray directly to God. Walay problema ana. No. But we have to consider nga dili sayo ang magpaampo sa mga santos. 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 1 to 7. Offer prayers, petitions for all men, no? Nagpaampo ng alang sa mga tao. There's nothing wrong with that. Ikadua, Job 48 versikulo 8. God commanded Eliphaz nga magpaampo kang Job. Gisugo sa Dios ang tao nga magpaampo kang Job tungod kay mas maayong tao si Job. Mas duol sa Dios. No, now, are we in the same state as Job? Do we have same spiritual state as Job? Now, if not, then there's no guarantee that our direct to God prayers can be heard immediately. No? Now, on the question, dili ba biblical ang procession? Sumala sa Isaiah 46 versikulo 7 nga 6 ngadto sa 7. Dili ba kini ang mabasa sa Isaiah 46 versikulo 6 ngadto sa 7, no? Versikulo 7 directly. Ang gingon mga higala is that they lift to their shoulders to carry. Siguro mo ni siyang nasa picture sa taas, no? No? An example is that, no? They carry, no? Ilang gidala. When they set in place again, it stays and does not move from the spot. Ang maong image, no? Although they cry out to it, nag-ampo sila ni ana, it cannot answer and it delivers no one from distress. Dili makatabang, in short. Mao na siyang naa sa 46 sa Isaiah versikulo 7. So this is the basis of the non-Catholics to say that procession is not biblical and that's why, and therefore it's a pagan practice. Now, the answer to that is we can read in 2 Samuel, no, atong pangitaon mga higala, so that we can make sure matubag ang mga question. In the 2 Samuel versikulo 6, 2 nga to sa 5. Mao kining giingon. 2 Samuel 6 verse 2 to 5. Mao kining giingon mga higala. Then David and all the people who were with him set out to Baala of Judah to bring up from there the ark of God, no? Ilang gidala, which bears the name of the Lord of hosts enthroned above the cherubim. The ark of God was placed on the new cart and taken away from the house of Abinadab on the hill. Uzzah and Ahio, sons of Abinadab, guided the cart with Ahio walking before it. Nagibutang no sa karo. While David and all the Israelites made merry before the Lord with all their strength, with singing with the sitharas, harps, tambourines, sistrums, and cymbals, musical instruments, no? When they came to the threshing floor of Nudan, Uzzah reached out his hand to the ark of God and steadied, for the oxen were making it. But the Lord was angry with Uzzah, and God struck him on the spot, and he died before the God. No. Mao ni siya atong makita mga higala. Iyang gihilabdan, no? Nihikap sa sakuan patay sa Dios. But the point here in the 2 Samuel size 2 to 5 is that David and the people processioned the ark of God. So, usaray punto nini mga higala, that if you are going to procession an image which you treat nga imuhang Dios, then that is prohibited. But anything about God, kabahin sa Dios ng imong procession, there's no problem with that, and God does not prohibit that. Another proof is in Joshua, size versikulo 1 ngadto sa 5. So please read that mga igala. And then another question is that dili ba biblical nga na ay kinulit na mga larawan ang templo sa Dios? Dili. Pruweba ana in Ezekiel 41 verses 17 to 20. No. Mabasa nimo diha that the house of God is surrounded by images. So natubag ang tanang mga pangutana mga higala. If you are not aware of this, then basically you can be easily persuaded of their arguments, and basically they're connecting the dots style, no? I-connect nila, which is no relation at all. Ili lang i-connect. So, if you have questions, if na mo yung mga pangutana about this, then do not hesitate to comment below, because I will try to answer to address that in the next content. Okay? Kaya guys, salamat mga higala for staying with me, and please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share this video.